Welcome to this video, BTC number 8. As is our custom, we start with the locomotive featured in the last video. Here the Class 14 teddy bear is heading off with a coal train from Pugh's yard. Due to work commitments and other challenges, I've not been able to keep up my video schedule, and this video will probably be my Christmas video. So Cheryl and I would like to take this chance to wish you all a happy Christmas and a safe, successful new year. Let's hope if everyone does their bit, 2022 will be COVID free. The absolutely stunning model of DP1, or DELTIC as she was always known, was made by Bachmann back in 2007. Mine arrived with me in April 2008, costing just £100 brand new. It's highly detailed with legible works plates and inscriptions. Opening the model for DCC or servicing requires the removal of 8 screws, then the body lifts off. As is typical with many Bachmann models, getting access to the motor is a real pain, and so far I've not needed to do it. I have to say that for me this model is my favourite diesel loco, as it's simply so stunning and well done. English Electric DP1, commonly known as DELTIC, was a prototype 3,300 horsepower demonstrator locomotive employing 2 Napier DELTIC engines built by English Electric in 1955. The 3,300 horsepower, which gave a horsepower per tonne measurement which was a 150% improvement on English Electric's previous designs. The high power of the locomotive and an acceptably low axle load resulted in 22 similar locomotives being ordered by British Railways for use on the East Coast Mainline Express passenger services. These became known as the British Rail Class 55s or DELTICs. Introduced in 1955, weighing 106 tonnes with a maximum speed initially of 90 miles an hour, which was later increased to 105 miles per hour, with 2 Napier D18-25 DELTIC engines. She had 60,000 pounds of tractive effort. Was the most adventurous of the early prototype designs and built by English Electric and loaned to BR for testing. Hopes were high for the export market, hence the large bonnet headlight, but sadly this was never realised. The locomotives first saw service on the London Midland region of British Railways in 1955, generally operating fast London to Liverpool freight trains. It was withdrawn and after modifications re-entered service in 1956. The model is seen with a coach between it and the train. This was prototypical during these tests. The coach, most likely a dynamometer car, was able to measure performance as well as carrying engineers to tend the loco if required. Tests were carried out on the Settle and Carlisle line in August-September 56. In 1957, the line traffic manager of the former Great Northern route out of London's King's Cross station was seeking high-power locomotives to run services on the East Coast Main Line, having found that the 2,000 horsepower English Electric Type 4s lacked sufficient power for his planned timings. As a consequence, he proposed using DELTIC type locomotives on the line. Objections to this order included those of limited permitted top speed due to the mass of the locomotive, the potential for the order to delay a proposed electrification scheme of the line, as well as modifications to King's Cross platforms to accommodate the Deltic. However, an order was placed in 1959 for 22 Class 55s to replace 55 steam locomotives. The Deltics would dominate the East Coast expresses until they were increasingly replaced by Intercity 125s in the late 70s. From early 1959, Deltic was transferred to Hornsey Depot in London for trials over the Great Northern routes. By March 1959, high-speed tests were carried out on the East Coast Main Line and speeds of up to 105 miles per hour were recorded. Deltic was tested alongside steam racehorses such as the A4s. In March 1961, a serious engine failure hit Deltic and she was sent back to English Electric. Under BR, the loco had covered over 450,000 miles. Restoring the two Deltic engines installed in DP1 to running condition is not feasible. The engines, although similar, differ from those used on the British Railways Class 55 locomotives. Apart from the oil leak, significant engine components were removed for spares for Deltic engines which were then in use in Royal Navy ton-class minesweepers, prior to Deltic being donated to the Science Museum, as the locomotive was not owned by British Railways. The ton-class ships were coastal minesweepers built in the 1950s for the Royal Navy, but also used in other navies such as the South African Navy and Royal Australian Navy. Here's a picture of one. Deltic would remain at English Electric until 1963, when it was decided to restore the bodywork and present her to the Science Museum in London. Now this is where I saw her as a young boy. My dad would recall rather ruefully that despite being surrounded by lovely steam locos, the young Mike was transfixed by this monstrous blue diesel. Yes indeed, love at first sight for me. In October 1993, Deltic was moved to the National Rail Museum in York.